A very good morning to you. It is 7 a.m., Wednesday, December 10th, 2025. Hump Day. Welcome to New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, and it is time to look outside and feel the warmer, balmy temperatures compared to yesterday. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has a detailed garden state forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
The difference 24 hours can make. It feels like
Yeah.
we're having a heat wave.
It's so true. The fact that we're above freezing by 2 degrees in some spots feels so much nicer than it did just yesterday. I cannot tell you the list of complaints via text that I received from everyone thinking, is this really it? Are we in the middle of winter? Well, we get a little bit of relief today. It comes with some milder winds that helping temperatures climb now to 36 over on LBI. However, there is plenty of wind around. It's that wind chill that's going to make it feel a touch cooler today, especially with those winds right now gusting upwards of 10, 15, 23 miles per hour over in Toms River, near 30-mile-per-hour gusts in Cape May. Those winds, however, are driving in the milder air and preventing us from having much of any snow today at all. I'll get to that in just a sec. We're anywhere from 15 to 20 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. That is a big jump in temperatures. So we start off cloudy right now, anticipating the first rounds of rain to get going much later on today. There could be a few flakes and flurries up there in northern New Jersey by lunchtime, but notice how a lot of this rain today is delayed and arriving until the afternoon hours. By then, temperatures will have warmed into the upper 40s, so it is a plain rain statewide. Only see maybe a little bit of light snowfall up at High Point State Park. Beyond that, plan on the rain right through the evening rush. And it's a cold, wet rain right through the evening into, say, 9, 10 o'clock tonight. Then as we head into tomorrow, that's when it turns cold again. So we're back in the freezer for our Thursday with a gusty northwesterly wind, likely have some flurries around in northern New Jersey, and keep that cold air in place clear through the weekend, starting off on Saturday morning, back down in the teens and 20s, just like yesterday, and keeping it cold even through Sunday with some flurries again in the forecast. So stays chilly, but at least today is wet, not white, going into the afternoon. And then as we head into the next few days, dry, sunny, but back down into the freezer, Ken.
Back down into the freezer. I put meat in there already. Now you said I got to take the meat out and make room for it. Hey,
Well, it's the
all right.
chest freezer that you keep extra cold, the long-term storage.
Why does every Italian American have a chest freezer? We'll let people
At
wonder
least one.
about that.
At
Yeah,
least one.
one that's visual, and then, well, never mind. We don't want to reveal stuff. Thank you very much, Mike. We'll check back in a little bit. It is 35 degrees northern New Jersey, 28 degrees in Trenton. It's 29 degrees right now in Vineland, and 31 degrees in Cape May. In terms of traffic, we have a crash on 295 northbound south of exit 29, which is Haddon Heights. The left shoulder is closed there. Crash on US 1 southbound north of Stouts Lane in South Brunswick. The right lane is closed. We have a crash with property damage on US 1 southbound north of 287 in Edison. Right lane is closed there, and a utility pulled down Route 73 northbound by Remington Avenue, Pennsauken. 2 right lanes of the 3 lanes and the right shoulder closed. So that is just a crawl getting through there. Delays already reported at the Lincoln Tunnel, Center Tunnel eastbound on the Jersey side from the toll plaza. Right now we're told 35 minutes in via the Lincoln. It's 30 via the Holland. Take a look at the GWB upper and lower levels. It is actually better than yesterday, but still very heavy. About a 35-minute commute time in. Your upper level on the right, a little bit better than the lower level on the left. Our time right now is 7:05, and 2 Absecon men have been arrested after making terroristic threats to DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin. Emilia Roman Flores and Ricardo Antonio Roman Flores, who are twin brothers, are accused of threatening to shoot ICE officers on sight, in addition to threatening to hang McLaughlin. They're both American citizens. McLaughlin has become one of the key faces of the Department of Homeland Security under President Trump, alongside Secretary Kristi Noem. As a leading spokesperson, she has repeatedly raised concerns about a rise in attacks and threats toward federal agents. 7:05 right now. New Jersey may have overpaid millions of dollars for child care subsidies. A recent audit shows about 15% of children in the program did not actually qualify because their family incomes exceeded eligibility limits. At the same time, there are roughly 8,000 children on the waiting list for child care assistance who can't get in. So people who shouldn't be getting the money are getting it, and people who need the money can't get it because of the people who are getting it. Poor oversight, weak internal controls, Democrat government. This allowed many ineligible participants to receive funds. They couldn't receive their funds, raising concerns about the integrity and fairness of the entire system. In response, the state's Division of Family Development is changing procedures and strengthening controls to prevent overpayment and misuse. But yet another Democrat program, financially mismanaged. Nobody gives a damn because it ain't their money, it's your money. So they just give them the money. By the way, it doesn't help when you have nearly 1 million illegal migrants fighting for the same money that you are fighting for your family, and they comprise about 12% of the population of the state of New Jersey. It is, as the folks on the left love to say, it's unsustainable. It's not sustainable. Well, it's not sustainable when you have 10 to 12% of the population here illegally who are not paying taxes, and we have to foot the bill. That was not the idea of us opening the doors for refugees. It wasn't supposed to be a fifth of our state or an eighth of our state. That wasn't supposed to be the case. But this is Democrats. Let them in. What's the difference? There you have it. 7:07 right now, and a Hunterdon County couple, Randall Kelko and Lisa DiStefano, were charged with making false reports, alleging that New Jersey State Police troopers sexually assaulted Kelko while on duty. The couple reported the alleged assault to hospital staff, New Brunswick police, and later filed a complaint with the New Jersey State Police Office of Professional Standards. An investigation, though, determined the incident never occurred. Body cam video and video from Kelko's cell phone showed the troopers' interactions during a domestic dispute response, and that contradicted the couple's claims. If convicted, Kelko and DiStefano could receive up to 10 years in prison and fines of up to $150,000. 7:08 right now. Residents along Japan's northeast coast were warned to stay alert as aftershocks continued yesterday in the aftermath of a major earthquake that left at least 33 people hurt. The U.S. Geological Survey reported a magnitude 6.6 and later a 5.1 quake in the hours after the initial tremor late Monday, local time in Japan. The USGS measured the main quake at 7.6 magnitude just off the coast of the city of Misawa in Aomori Prefecture, and it was about 27 miles deep. Most of the people hurt were hit by falling debris. A tsunami of just over 2 feet was measured in Kuji Port, and waves of up to 20 inches struck other communities in that region. 7:08 right now. A Manhattan federal judge yesterday ordered the release of grand jury records tied to the criminal case of notorious pedophile Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell. Federal prosecutors must publish the records, including search warrants and grand jury testimony, because of the law that President Trump signed last month compelling the release of all Epstein-related documents. But the judge cautioned that the new records would not reveal any bombshells to members of the public that followed Maxwell's 2021 trial, where she was convicted of multiple sex crimes for helping Epstein abuse girls as young as 14. Democrats were screaming for the release of the files. Remember, all we heard every day was Epstein files. Trump has something to hide. Epstein files, right? Where are those assholes now? Where are they? Why don't you pick up the phone and call Schumer and say, hey, jerk, where are you? Why aren't you screaming for the Epstein files now, dumbass? Maybe because you found nothing in there, and maybe because you found stuff that incriminates your own Democrat buddies, and now you're keeping your big fat mouth shut. I'm sure President Trump has something to do with it. I'm sure. Yeah, okay. This shows what a dumbass Schumer and his ilk are. Over a period of 4 years, the Democrats controlled everything in D.C. They had full access to every jot and tittle, every little piece of the Epstein file. Do you not think at some point they would have looked through and said, oh, here's something connecting Trump? I'm sure they did, and they found nothing connecting Trump. But apparently the word didn't get to Schumer and his ilk. Or it did, and they decided to use the 3-day news cycle to try to imply and incriminate so that people will forever associate in their minds that there's some connection, but there is none. Anyway, now it has been shown there is no link. Notice how quiet mainstream media and liberals have become about the Epstein files. They don't hear anything about them. Not a word. All you heard for a week. See, you had the government shutdown first, right? Government shutdown was causing issues, so that's all we talked about. And then the Democrats tried to change the subject from that when they realized that that wasn't working for them. So now they tried to make it about Epstein. And now that the Epstein thing fell away, now that not a word, not a word. It is now 7:11. President Trump did not rule out expanding U.S. military operations beyond Venezuela to Mexico and Colombia. On Monday, the president said he would consider using military force even on U.S. allies in Latin America. Trump cited Mexico and Colombia's drug trade into the U.S., resulting in 115,000 American deaths each year as he continues threatening to overthrow the regime, the socialist regime in Venezuela. And remember, there are 115,000 of your fellow Americans. Think about that. Die every year because of fentanyl. And before you say, Ken, they're nothing but drug addicts. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Because what is happening is in many cases, these young people, and most of them are young people are taking a pill they think is something that they are prescribed already, and they don't realize that it is actually laced with fentanyl, and that is what is killing them. A popular Central American getaway spot is under new scrutiny after U.S. officials warn that criminals are increasingly targeting tourists and foreign residents with robberies and extortion schemes in Costa Rica. In a security alert issued November 25th, the U.S. Embassy in Costa Rica said it is tracking a rise in property crimes, financial crimes, and robberies affecting foreigners across the country, including U.S. citizens. The alert describes criminal gangs targeting foreign-owned homes and businesses for break-ins and extortions. It also details cases in which foreign residents and travelers are forced to withdraw big sums of cash from ATMs and make bank transfers. Our time right now is 7:13. Clouds today, periods of rain later, maybe a flake of snow, highs in the upper 30s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta returns with a full Garden State forecast. And we'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. We'll be right back.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings for your Wednesday. I'm Ken Rosato at 7:15, and we will take your calls at 888-658-0234. Clouds today. Maybe a little rain later on. Highs upper 30s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with the Garden State forecast. Mike, is there also a possibility of maybe un flaco de snow maybe here or there later?
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
Un
That's
fioco di
rudimentary
neve.
Spanish, by the way. Un
Un
flaco.
fioco
No,
di
no, you got to say
neve.
it. Un flaco de snow. Un po' di neve. So is there a possibility of a
Lluvia,
little snow here or there?
lluvia. A lot of rain today. A lot of rain. And
Lluvia,
I think
sì,
that's going to be the
claramente.
case today going through this afternoon. It's too warm, Ken. And I never thought I'd say this week, especially. It's too warm, especially with the snow. The one chance we get all week where there's precipitation, temperatures already climbing into the upper 40s and potentially even low 50s a little further south. We'll get to your South Jersey forecast in just a bit. But as far as central New Jersey today, we're already above the freezing mark and we keep going into the mid and upper 40s today. The rain doesn't arrive until late this morning and early afternoon. Even the wind chill well into the upper 30s by this afternoon. And then you see those winds come bringing back some very cold weather, allowing for it to feel like 6 this time tomorrow morning up in Sussex, 7 in Morristown, 15 in Newark, and the 20s elsewhere for the rest of the state. Going into our Thursday afternoon, Friday is cold again, feels like teens and single digits. And then Saturday, we keep that cold air around. So again, the one day this week we get moisture, there's enough warm air to prevent any of that snow to fall. But it's very windy later today. By noon, near 36 to 40 mile per hour gusts down on LBI, staying very windy throughout this evening. And then tomorrow's gusty winds come from the west, which bring in some colder weather, and the real frigid weather comes in for Friday with a little bit of a northwesterly breeze. So super cold air on the way again, heading into the weekend with this drop in temperatures each and every day. So here's our system there right now over the Great Lakes, working its way eastward, but it's going to encounter that very warm air thanks to the warmer ocean, where that breeze is coming from, and changing any of that rain, or any of that snow rather, to rain, unless if you find yourself in the highest elevations of New Jersey. I mean, really, like up by High Point, New Jersey, is where you could tap into some of that colder air. Beyond that, it's dry until about 2, 3 o'clock for the northeastern corner of the state. You don't tap into the rain until this evening. So it's really an evening time frame for the rain across the portions of, say, Essex and Hudson County, even through Bergen County. And then all of this clears out quickly, leading to a colder start to the day tomorrow with flurries in the forecast, and that cold weather sticks around really through the next several days. There's no relief in sight with that chilly weather right through the weekend. Saturday and Sunday, both days, will start off in the teens, climb into the 30s, just barely make it above freezing for Sunday, and then Monday and Tuesday into next week, the cold weather persists. So we're not going anywhere anytime soon with this cold weather. Just today is the brief respite from the chill, and then it's right back to the frigid air tomorrow.
Look at that, Frigidaire. You know, they make an appliance with that name, just in case you didn't remember. In fact, it's so funny. When I was a kid, Frigidaire was such a common appliance name. It
Yeah.
was like Kleenex and Coke. Like my grandmother
Hmm.
wouldn't say go to the refrigerator. She'd say open the Frigidaire. That
Frigidaire.
was the because it was
Wow.
such an established brand. And
Huh.
today it's like just like an afterthought brand for so many people, like a yesteryear
Yeah.
throwback. But interesting. I wonder who owns them today. Probably another. I don't know. I shouldn't suggest a country, but I'm just wondering. You know, every appliance seems to be owned by a foreign country. It's amazing.
Sure.
All
Sure.
right, sir. Thank you very much. It is 36 degrees here in northern New Jersey. As Mike was saying, too warm to snow. Crazy. It's 28 though in Trenton, so the inland areas are definitely chillier than the coastal areas because of the warmer waters of the rivers, etc., and the Atlantic Ocean. In terms of traffic, let's go over to Route 22, shall we? We have a crash on Route 22 eastbound, east of North Broad Street, Hillside. One left lane is closed, and look at the mess that is causing as a result. Yikes. We also have issues on US 1 southbound north of Route 522, Stouts Lane in South Brunswick. The right lane of 2 lanes closed. Let us go over to 295, shall we? 295 northbound south of exit 29, which is US 30 in Haddon Heights. On 295 here, check it out. The left shoulder is closed. I know right now, Pam is saying 295. You said 76, right? Because it's ice. This is near I-76. That's why. So this is again 295 northbound south of exit 29, US 30 in Haddon Heights with the left shoulder closed, causing what you see there. over to the New Jersey Turnpike Eastern Spur northbound from north of interchange 15E to north of interchange 15W. All lanes open, but it's about a 1.5 mile delay. That's all due to volume. And your Hudson River approaches Lincoln Tunnel now 35 minutes. It's 30 minutes at the Holland. GWB is a hair better than it was yesterday. Still slow and heavy, though. It'll cost you about 35 to 40 minutes in. Upper level on the right, lower level on the left. 721, a major healthcare battle has been taking place in Monmouth County as RWJ Barnabas applied to move Monmouth Medical Center's hospital license from Long Branch to a new location in Tinton Falls, causing outcry from the community. The New Jersey Department of Health recently held a hearing on the matter. On New Jersey's Sean Frunk takes us to Trenton.
And we need to keep this hospital the way it is.
In the State House Museum, the New Jersey Department of Health heard community and business testimony, both in person and over Zoom, on whether or not to approve RWJ Barnabas's plan to move their hospital license for Monmouth Medical Center to a new facility in Tinton Falls.
And trying to create a modern facility to meet the needs of our community, it made sense for us to look outward and look to other communities and to put our hospital more central to where the majority of people are currently coming from.
The current building was not designed to support the level or complexity of care we now provide.
It should be stated that we are committed to providing excellent nursing care both at Monmouth Medical Center in Long Branch and Tinton Falls.
It will give us a state-of-the-art surgical building, the next generation of robotics, imaging, artificial intelligence, minimally invasive technology. These expanded modernized spaces will allow us to continue delivering the safest procedures and the best outcomes for our patients.
This proposal caused outrage throughout some of the community, including that of Representative Frank Pallone.
They find it a lot more financially desirable, essentially, to move to Tinton Falls, where there are fewer Medicaid patients, fewer uninsured persons, and they can make more money. It's the bottom line. It's really greed.
We want to take a hospital out of a community that is 50% minority and move it to a community that's 15% minority.
Removing the hospital license, the ICU, and the acute beds for care is not patient-centered approach.
After an almost 8-hour hearing, the board chose to defer the current application to a later date, in the hopes that RWJ Barnabas might be able to address some of the community concerns. Representatives from the company, however, say that they've done all that they can.
I would ask you to not defer, but to take action and to just reject the recommendations of the state health department.
The future of Monmouth Medical Center still remains uncertain, but there will always be those who will continue to fight for that future. For On New Jersey, I'm Sean Thrunk.
A water main broke on the Route 46 westbound ramp from Riverview Drive in Totowa yesterday, the leak causing water to flow to a nearby Home Depot parking lot. With overnight temps about 18 degrees, that standing water froze and that made a sheet of ice. Crews closed the ramp for most of the morning to work on the leak, and crews from Totowa fixed the leak, then crews salted the area. Well, the New Jersey Assembly has approved a bill to eliminate the state's high school graduation exam, known as the New Jersey Graduation Proficiency Assessment. Supporters argue the exam is just one of too many tests students already take, and eliminating it would reduce testing burdens. But critics warn the move could lower educational standards by handing out diplomas without ensuring proficiency. Kids don't know how to spell, but they get their diploma. Assemblywoman Dawn Fantasia said removing the requirement disconnects diplomas from actual student ability. The father of a golfer struck and killed by lightning on a golf course has filed suit against the Ballyowen Golf Club in Hamburg. 28-year-old Simon Mariani was struck by lightning during a July 8th tournament. He died a week later. The plaintiff, Simon's father, Scott Mariani, alleges the club could have done more to keep his son safe. The complaint claims that club management did not properly monitor weather forecasts or suspend play, arguing the golf course failed to warn participants of a brewing storm. The legal outcome could have implications for how golf courses manage weather risks and protect patrons in the future. Congress and the Treasury Department have launched new investigations into Minnesota's massive Feeding Our Future fraud case. Despite dozens of convictions, federal officials are working to recover at least a fraction of the stolen money in a process that has gone uncovered. Ill-gotten high-end vehicles, luxury homes, and more have all been discovered spent by people who got that money the wrong way. And by the way, left-wing media is not reporting this story at all. Not a word. It's $1 billion apparently stolen that the Governor Walz may have total knowledge of, and not a word from mainstream media because they think this guy could be president. Meanwhile, city officials in Minneapolis are bracing for an influx of ICE agents after the agency announced plans for a new operation in the state. 80% of the fraud cases allegedly originated in far left-wing Somali Congresswoman Ilhan Omar's district. Do you think that has something to do with it? It's all part of a $1 billion fraud scheme involving state agencies and the Minnesota Somali community. The Archdiocese of New York will pay out nearly a third of $1 billion to victims of clergy sex abuse. That from Cardinal Timothy Dolan Monday. The Cardinal said the Archdiocese will pay the record amount to abuse survivors as part of a global settlement with victims. Dolan said the Archdiocese has made a series of difficult financial decisions to help fund the settlement, including selling the big Archdiocese headquarters building in Manhattan. All you free Palestine sycophant left-wing nuts, listen up. Hamas hid tons of baby formula and nutritional shakes meant for kids inside a warehouse so that Gazans and their children would starve to death. Isn't that nice? But yet they did it so it would look like Israel was not allowing food in. That's who you're backing with the Palestinian flags. Anti-Hamas activist Ahmed Fouad al-Khatib, who is a Palestinian, showed video proof of the accusation. Images shared on social media show the inside of a warehouse with thousands of packages of baby formula. The U.S. and Israel shipped in thousands of pallets of food, but Hamas terrorists have been hoarding it. And severe norovirus cases are surging much earlier than usual in the U.S. this year. It may be because a German cruise ship with over 100 norovirus-contaminated passengers made stops in New York, Miami, and other ports. The virus has so sickened people aboard the ship Aida Diva that they've encountered intensely forceful vomiting, causing people to crack their ribs. Wastewater surveillance through 6 New Jersey communities shows a high presence of the virus here. And depending on where you were last night, you may have caught a rare glimpse of the northern lights. Parts of the area were cloud-free and allowed for a decent view. We recently had another opportunity to see the northern lights in the Garden State when a big solar storm brought the light show to about half of the U.S. It is 7:27. When we come back, a new study suggesting many Americans may be heading toward a January holiday debt hangover. We'll explain. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings on your Wednesday. We're back in 2 minutes.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
Very good morning to you. 7:30 right now. It is 36 degrees. I am Ken Rosato. It is Wednesday, December 10th, 2025. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. Some clouds today, periods of maybe a little bit of rain later on, highs in the upper 30s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with the detailed Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
Sorry, I keep doing that. Good morning, Mike.
It's okay. We gotta have the sponsor pay the bills, right?
Oh, God bless them. Listen, thank God
Right.
for them. And they're a great product. And
Mhm.
by the way, I'm serious. I have to have mom. Oh my gosh, do I have to have mom call the good folks at Audio Nova? Mom's, I don't know.
Mhm.
I think she got her hearing aids, and they're not Audio Nova. Let me make it clear. She got them a couple of years ago. I think she got them in like one of those machines where you put a quarter in and out pop hearing
Well,
aids. It's like,
you know,
Mom,
it's
how are
incre
you today?
it's
It's like, Mom, how are you today? And the answer is like, I'm making eggs. Mom, how are you? Yes, the car is in the back. Yeah, okay. You think I'm kidding. This is my life. So, yes, please, I'm
but
begging
so
the people of
important.
Audio
And I
Nova.
know we're working to have a doctor of audiology on as a guest to explain the importance because we all know someone who has, a hearing disability, and maybe it's just age or it's so important, like you mentioned, to have proper hearing. Very, very
And you
important.
and
So,
I, all the years that we have this
yeah.
in our ear
Hmm.
from
Yep.
television and radio, that impact.
Right.
I've had my test done. I get it tested, get my hearing tested every 3 years.
Hmm.
And I'm about 18%, I think it was the latest, 18% down in the right ear because I've always used the right ear for radio and television for
Wow.
either a headphone or this is called an IFB for those who are not into television. And so just from having that constant stream of audio, it's impacted me 18%. So there you go. It is what it is. It's very
But
important. And hearing, by the way, it's also a predictor of Alzheimer's. So that's why these doctors
mhm,
of audiology are more than just, what you think.
sure.
They are very serious doctors. So
And when they get the hearing aids from a doctor of audiology, they're so amazed they can hear their own footsteps, and that's important. You can
yes,
hear the rain today. You'll be hearing your footsteps splashing in some puddles by this afternoon, especially down the shore, where the rain will be coming down quite heavily earlier on in the morning for you, from Avalon toward Ocean City and even Atlantic City, as temperatures warm quickly. No snow for most of the state, unless you find yourself in the extreme elevations of Sussex County and Morris County, maybe even Warren County. Beyond that, it's just a plain wet weather event for you, with that rain lasting into this evening. 47 degrees, that's our average high. We actually get there today. That's a first in a while. And with all of the clouds now moving in, a few of these flurries working in from the north and west, again, not going to impact any travel. It's all about that wind pushing in from the south and southwest today, allowing for that rain to get going through the middle part of the day. Then as we head into tonight, cold weather takes over. The rain clears out. We're backed with the chill throughout the day tomorrow, even through Friday, and the rest of the week is looking dry and cold. So we're keeping that clear sky around, but also plenty of chilly weather, with temperatures just struggling to make it back up to the freezing mark each afternoon. So the bigger picture showing our system predominantly producing snow north and west of New Jersey. When the cold front sweeps through tonight, it just provides another reinforcing shot of cold air, and that chilly weather sticks around going into tomorrow and Friday and Saturday, with more cold weather on the way into the weekend, maybe even some flakes and flurries as well going into our Saturday and Sunday. Speaking of the weekend, 7-day forecast showing high temperatures just about freezing, maybe a few degrees above, but we're back down into teens and 20s all day on Monday, briefly only getting to 30 and then 33 degrees by Tuesday. Chilly weather abounds whether you're up north or down the shore. You see, the shore points have a better chance of a little bit of light snow on Sunday with some flurries that come through, but that's a system that stays very far to our south. Plenty of cold air in place behind that, keeping it cold, Ken, into Monday and Tuesday. So you got to keep those hearing aid batteries charged on a day like today with all the cold air.
gosh, it seems the best part is now you can Bluetooth the hearing aid to the cell phone. So now every time somebody calls, this is what I hear. God, who's calling me now? Because it rings right in your ears. So patience, patience. It's
Yeah.
okay. It's like, but if you don't Bluetooth, she doesn't know. The phone could ring till her purse like falls apart. It doesn't matter. So It is. I'm not making fun. This is reality. And anybody who
This is
has
reality. Yeah.
older parents or whatever with the issue, you know what I'm talking about. I'm sure there are a lot of
Hmm.
people laughing, only not laughing at, but laughing because they get it. So,
Yeah.
all right, Mike, thank you very much, sir. God bless them, though. Thank God we have them. Appreciate you. 34 degrees right now, 7:35. It is 34 in northern New Jersey. Down in Trenton, though, it's 28 degrees. So inland, definitely colder. Looking at some traffic, 295 right now. We have a crash northbound south of exit 29, which is Route 30 in Franklin or on Franklin Avenue, by Franklin Avenue in Berlin Township. All lanes are closed. So those folks are heading right into the area that's closed about half a mile from this point. Also on, let's see, on Route 30, we have a crash investigation, both directions west of Route 692, Franklin Ave, Berlin. Oh, that was this. I'm sorry. Route 22. Let's go over. We have a crash on Route 22 eastbound, east of North Broad Street, Hillside. The left lane of 2 lanes are closed. And then we have 2 issues on US 1 right now. We have a crash on US 1 southbound north of Stouts Lane in South Brunswick Township. The right lane of 2 lanes closed there. And also on US 1, we have a crash with property damage on US 1 southbound north of 287 in Edison. The right lane of 3 lanes closed, and that's causing what you see on your screen right now. Hudson River approach is all pretty heavy. Another gridlock alert day in effect. That's going to be the case right through Christmas. You'll have 2 to 3 days a week of gridlock alert days. Try to avoid driving into Manhattan if at all possible. The Holland Tunnel right now is going to cost you 25 minutes, 35 at the Lincoln. GWB upper and lower levels, 80, 95 approach. You can see pretty much bumper to bumper. Emergency vehicle, they're way off on the left in the distance. It's going to cost you 45 in via the GWB. 7:37 is our time, and a new study suggests many Americans may be heading toward a January holiday debt hangover. Money Lion reports that 84% of us, 84%, plan on using credit cards to cover holiday expenses this year. And that means bigger bills ahead as inflation continues to push up prices. The survey also shows 30% of Americans will lean on those buy now, pay later options, and 14% expect to take out a personal loan just to afford gifts. The survey also reveals many are taking extra jobs this season, including nearly half of Gen Z and more than a third of millennials. Some millennials even reported returning gifts that they had to cover basic expenses like rent or food. Paul Oster is the founder and CEO of Better Qualified in New Jersey. We say good morning to Paul.
Good morning, Ken.
Good to have you on. Paul, when you look at this new Money Lion survey, what does it say about how responsible people are with the money? Because at least you see the Gen Zers and millennials taking an extra job to try to pay for it.
Yeah, I applaud that effort, right? What scares me the most is the US consumer is resilient to a fault, and they just continue to spend money that they don't have. If they were using debit cards or cash and spending all that money, that would be great for the economy. But the reality is they're actually using what you just said, credit cards and these new buy now, pay later programs, which is basically a personal loan in the first place. And those are, they just released some numbers. It was billions of dollars, record breaking spending on those new buy now, pay later programs, which most consumers have no idea what they're getting into in the first place.
And Paul, the other thing too is everybody who uses those credit cards says, "Hey, but I get 5% back with this," or "Hey, They forget that gets passed on. If you think that the credit card companies are just going to eat that money, or that the companies who are accepting your credit card are going to eat that money, you're crazy, right? That just is. They just jack up the price 5%. You get 5% back, and that's how it gets passed through. Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. And let's not forget the rewards programs are actually, there's a tremendous pressure to get rid of them because, again, it's just a marketing ploy to get people to spend more money. The reality is, if you carry any credit card debt at all, whatever reward points you were going to get in the first place are quickly eaten up at 20, 30% interest rates on every dollar you spend. So we have to take a step back this season and say, this might be the year that we set some reasonable expectations. Reach out to your group, your family, your friends. We're all in the same position. And you might say, listen, why don't we do some smaller gifts this year, gag gifts, set some, limits. The max is going to be $25. Get creative. Let's buy some, again, fun and creative gifts as opposed to just, spending like we've spent in the past. This is not the year to do that.
That's exactly what we've done with my family. We've done donations in people's names, and then we
Well,
do
that's
one
great. Yeah.
little gift in a card, and that was the gift to whether it be dinner out or something. But yeah, one little simple gift. You keep the economy going that way. It's good. But this craziness of, oh, this would be perfect for Marlene. Let me buy this and let me buy that. That we all think that that's love. Love is spending time with a person. Love is not buying something that because it catches your eye, right? You could always go back and buy that in the future
Yeah,
if the
Ken,
person
ask the people on your list what say, hey, you know what? I forgot what I got you last year. They're not even going to remember the
isn't that
gift that you
amazing?
gave them or try and remember what they got you. So this year is the year to start with a gift strategy, not a gift list. Instead of having the names on your list that you've had for years, figuring out, oh, what Marlena would like. And then, oh, it doesn't cost $50, it costs $100 because of inflation. Start with a price, right? So the max is $15, the max is $30, the max is $50. Then who fits in that category? Close friends, family, coworkers, my children, and then put those names in. If you do it the other way, you're not setting a boundary. You're not setting a firm spending cap, which is what we should start with. How much money can I actually afford to spend this season? Most people are carrying credit card debt from last season. So if the answer is zero, if you're carrying any debt right now, the answer is zero. And just be honest about it and just say, listen, it's times are tough for everybody. This is the year. Let's give the gift of time. Like you're saying, making donations is great, but there's nothing better than giving the gift of time. Hey, Ken, you and I, let's pick a date. Come over to my house. We'll cook dinner together. Let's go out to the movies. Let's go fishing. There are all sorts of things that you can do that doesn't cost a lot of money. And look,
I am with you.
it comes down to the children, right? That's what it's really all about. So I get it. If you have kids, it's the 3 gift rule. Actually talk to them and figure out what they want.
I gotta stop you only because the automated system's going to kick into a commercial. I just need your website really fast. I'm sorry, Paul.
It's betterqualified.com.
Or I'm sorry to end it like that at the holidays, but we'll have you back. Paul Oster, founder and CEO of Better Qualified in New Jersey. Thank you. Happy holidays, and we are coming right back.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 7:45. We're taking your calls at 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with the full Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
So it is almost mild out right now. It's amazing to get temps into the 30s when yesterday was literally half that.
Yeah, it feels a little bit better. And I think the best part of the day is that, Ken, this rain should not arrive until later on in the morning, even the early afternoon in northern New Jersey. So most of the morning stays dry, even the early afternoon. Likely have some spritzes and sprinkles, maybe 2, 3 o'clock at the earliest. We'll see some light rain get going from Hackensack and Newark, and then into the evening rush. That's when the bulk of the wet weather comes in. There's already a few flakes and flurries showing up in Sussex and Newton, but that's not the bulk of the moisture today. A lot of this happens late morning, early afternoon, even in the northwestern counties. So plan on a much milder feel to the day, and with the rain that falls today, it should help bring back some of the rainfall deficit, at least halve these numbers with that amount of rain that comes in later on this evening. So with the cold weather that's in place for today and tomorrow, and more cold air over the next 2 weeks, right through Christmas Eve, we should be below average in terms of temperature. The above average warmth, that is all locked down to the south and west. It's also going to be quite dry there. We're here in New Jersey, equal chances of rain and dry. So not anticipating a whole lot of cold weather beyond the 7-day forecast, but at least it's pretty chilly until then. The next 7 days have highs that climb only into the upper 30s, maybe only around freezing by Sunday. And then we don't even make it to freezing by Monday, starting off at 19, climbing to 30, and staying in the 20s most of the day, briefly getting to 33 by Tuesday of next week. So this cold weather at least is here for the next few, say 5, 6 days. And then beyond that, we'll slowly see a little gradual warm up to average, which would take us into the low 40s, which is where we'd like to be, but I think it's going to take some time.
I love it. This is the first time in how many years that you've come back to me and called me average. I appreciate it, Mike. Believe me, don't think I'm not taking note. And the Christmas is right around the corner, so I'm just saying. But yes, thank you very much. Santa and I have already been, hey, old man with the beard, help me out here. All right, bud, we'll check back in a little bit. Thank you. It is, down. This happens all the time. Mike and I have talked about this a million times. You know how it was like 35 degrees half an hour ago? It's dropped to 30, and that happens as the sun is coming up and you get the little wind off the shore from inland, whatever, depending on where the wind is coming from. So it's dropped to 30 here in northern New Jersey, 28 degrees in Trenton. It is 29 degrees right now in Vineland, and it is 31 degrees in Cape May. 7:48 is our time. We have a crash investigation now on US 30, both directions, west of Route 692, Franklin Ave, Berlin. All lanes are closed there. We go over to Route 22, US 22, and we have an earlier disabled vehicle right now. Take a look at that. Yikes, that is a mess. And of course, they just updated the script, so they just took away the info. But this is US 22. Pam, what is the cross street there on that? I'm sorry, because they just literally pulled the script. By Liberty Avenue. Thank you, Pam. What would I do without you, Pam? I would just crawl up in a hole and end it. So anyway, we have that issue right there. And then let's go over to 78 right now at Vauxhall Road. You can see what we have there, just an absolute mess. 78 at Vauxhall, which is trafficy on a good day. Right now, you'll see pretty much bumper to bumper right now. And that was due to a breakdown in the right lane. Now it appears that that is just volume now because we got word that they cleared that up. Your approaches to the Hudson River right now, the Lincoln and Holland. Lincoln is now 35 to 40 minutes. Holland Tunnel is 25 to 30. GWB upper and lower levels, 80-95 approach. You'll see on the right side the upper level, lower level on the left, and that's going to cost you about 45 minutes either way. 7:49 is our time, and the 2025 New Jersey Bear Hunt has returned for its second and final segment after more than 350 bears were killed in the October session. Segment B of the hunt will take place now through Saturday. It is limited to shotgun and muzzle loader rifles. Hunters will be spread across 8 North Jersey counties where most of the state's bears live and where wildlife officials say the population is rising. There were 367 bears killed during the 6-day hunt from October 13th to the 18th. They figure out what's called a harvest rate. I know that sounds gruesome to people who don't hunt, but the harvest rate is they take a look at the overall population, and believe me, they do pretty much know. They take a look at the whole population of bear, and then they look at how many were killed, and they figure out the percentage. It's all about controlling the population, because otherwise what happens is you have an overpopulation of bears. They come into our communities, they go through your food, and then there's no food to feed them. They end up starving to death. That doesn't help either. So what's more humane, killing them or letting them starve to death? It is what it is, folks. Anyway, if the harvest rate does not reach 20% by Saturday, the hunt will be extended an additional 4 days, December 17th to the 20th. 7:51, and once again, an activist U.S. District Court got its, let's just say got its handed to it from a federal appeals court. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit sided with Secretary of War Pete Hegseth yesterday, ruling the U.S. military can exclude trans members from serving. The ruling upheld Hegseth and President Trump's push to bar trans men and women from the military after a lower court placed an injunction on it in March. The D.C. Circuit judges ruled Hegseth's decision was, quote, constitutional because it reflects a considered judgment of military leaders and furthers legitimate military interests, close quote. The judges wrote that Hegseth's argument that service members with gender dysphoria are unfit for the military was supported by previous military standards. In other words, that's the way it was always done, so why change things? Bottom line, nobody has a legal right to serve in the military. It is a privilege. People are selected for the role they will perform. It's not about people's feelings, but whether they can perform the job they are called to perform, both mentally and physically. But I do think that there should be a role for trans people. If not on the battlefield, if that's the feeling, then there should be a role that they could serve, not out front. If the issue is trans people cannot perform as well or in the same way out on the battlefield, I am sure you could find something in a support role for trans. Think back to women in the 1940s. You didn't want women in combat, but you found support roles and women wanted to take part. There are plenty of good patriotic American people who are trans, and there has to be a role for them that way. So I think that's just something to think about. 7:52 right now, and you got to see this amazing video from Florida. A plane drops out of the sky and smashes. Look at this. Smashes onto a car on a busy interstate highway. Where does it happen? Of course, Florida. The driver of the car got hurt, but is going to be okay. The pilot and a passenger on that small plane crashing into that 2023 Toyota Camry. The pilot and the passenger are fine, not a scratch. This happened on the southbound side of I-95 in Cocoa, which is north central eastern Florida, just before 6 p.m. during the evening rush. So you can see it was sunset. Of course, there was a dash cam video because people now seem to get them these $25 dash cams all over the place to protect them for insurance. But this is pretty amazing. No word on what caused the plane to lose control. It may have experienced engine trouble before the incident because witnesses say they saw it flying really low, about 100 feet from the ground. The car's driver taken to the hospital with just scratches, and the pilot and the passenger, again, not hurt. Amazing video. It is 7:54. The New Jersey State Assembly has approved a bill to eliminate the state's high school graduation exam. It's known as the New Jersey Graduation Proficiency Assessment. Supporters argue the exam is just one of many tests that students already take, and eliminating it would reduce all the burdens on the students. Critics, though, warn the move could lower educational standards by handing out diplomas without ensuring proficiency, that maybe students aren't really up to speed with math and verbal skills, and yet they're being pushed through the system. Assemblywoman Dawn Fantasia said removing the requirement disconnects diplomas from actual student ability. It is a good thing that in New Jersey, the schools have been doing better. Students have been doing better. They are our future. God bless them all. But I don't know if doing away with testing is the answer. Maybe we come up with something other than the traditional test. Maybe not every student is made to take a test. I know Ken, how do you do it? There's hundreds of thousands of students. You got to do it on a case-by-case basis, but I think it's important. Some students can do it without taking a test and others can't. It is 7:55. The father of a golfer struck and killed by lightning on a golf course has filed suit against Ballyowen Golf Club in Hamburg, New Jersey. 28-year-old Simon Mariani was struck by lightning during a July 8th tournament. He died a week later. The plaintiff, Simon's father, Scott Mariani, alleges the club could have done more to keep his son safe. The complaint claims that club management did not properly monitor weather forecasts or suspend play, arguing the golf course failed to warn participants of a brewing storm. Well, whatever the legal outcome, it could have implications for how golf courses manage weather risks and protect patrons in the future. In other words, you show up at a golf course and it's sunny and they find out that in an hour there's a 5% chance of a thunderstorm. They may say, sorry, you can't go out. That may be the case if, in fact, the courts rule against the golf course. So listen, horrible that this poor young man in his 20s got struck by lightning and died. That is unquestionably awful. But the question is, how responsible is the golf course? And in this case, the courts will make that decision. 756, Congress and the Treasury Department have launched new investigations into Minnesota's massive Feeding Our Future fraud case. Despite dozens of convictions, federal officials are working to recover at least a fraction of the stolen money in a process that's already uncovered ill-gotten high-end vehicles, luxury homes, and more. Meanwhile, city officials in Minneapolis are bracing for an influx of ICE agents after the agency announced plans for a new operation in the state. 80% of the fraud cases allegedly originated in Somali Congresswoman Ilhan Omar's district. She's a Democrat. It is all part of a $1 billion fraud scheme involving state agencies and the Minnesota Somali community. Apparently, whistleblowers were warning Governor Walz about it for years. And instead of doing something about it, I think because of political correctness, because the Somali community is black, I think Somalis essential part of the state of Minnesota, a big part. But I think Tim Walz was so afraid of appearing racist because of the whole image of it that he did nothing. And doing nothing when there's corruption is just as bad as doing too much if you are prejudiced. You are prejudiced one way or the other, Tim Walz. That is not fair to Somalis who really did need those programs. Now they are all being painted with a broad brush of negativity. Had you just gone after the crooks, this wouldn't be the case. 757, when we come back, a remarkable program using music to bring joy to those living with Alzheimer's disease and related dementias. And we'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. Cloudy today, periods of rain later, highs upper 30s, the full Garden State forecast in just a moment. You're watching On New Jersey Morning, seen daily at ONNJ.com, Roku, Fire TV, News on Samsung TV Plus, Apple TV, YouTube, Facebook, X, and more. We're coming right back.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
morning. It is 8 a.m. Wednesday, December 10th, 2025. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato taking calls at 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the full Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
It is just amazing how much more comfortable it feels once you cross the 32-degree mark.
Right?
I guess just the water at the surface of your capillaries by the skin says, okay, I'm not going to freeze now. But you feel the difference. When I was a morning reporter for Channel 7 and I would stand outside waiting to go on the air, this is back in 2003, 2004, back when you were like 4. I would stand there and literally just as the sun was rising, you get a little wind in the morning. Even in the spring, you'd feel it.
Sure.
If it was 32-ish, you felt it. I knew when it was 32, and I didn't like it. I'm sorry, Mike.
The
Too much
human
personal.
thermometer. Look at that.
Yes, I
And
am.
I was sitting next to Sam Champion in the weather center there as the intern, going, let's see what Ken says the weather is this morning. It is chilly this
Yeah,
morning, Ken, but
it was cold.
not as bad as it has been the last few days. But this is the one day we get this week where we're above freezing. Look at all of this purple offshore. That's the gale force winds that will be paralleling the beaches today. No winter weather advisories for New Jersey. You have to cross the Delaware for any of that because the warmth happens so early this morning that by the time the moisture gets going, it falls simply as a plain rain. There could be a few flurries around this morning, but there's no weather alerts for that. None of that sticks to the ground. Winds right now out of the south and southwest at 8:02, coming in anywhere from making it feel like 29, 27 degrees, but it's that wind that feels quite gusty, 33 mile per hour gusts at the moment over in Cape May, 27 mile per hour gusts down the shore in Atlantic City. So all of this wind today is helping prompt that very, very mild air. By comparison, we are a solid 25 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. That is a big jump in temperatures. All the clouds around, they're in place before the rain gets going later today. But again, with the temperatures warming well into the 40s before that moisture gets going, it's a plain rain that starts falling by 1 o'clock down the shore. Have to wait until later on this afternoon, even closer to sunset, to see the first showers there in northeastern New Jersey. But by then, all of that snow changes to rain, and it's a simply plain rain unless you find yourself in the hills of Sussex County. Even after sunset, when the warmth takes over, even in the hills, the highest elevations in New Jersey, will be a plain rain. By later on tonight, it wraps up quickly, and we're back to clear, cold weather for tomorrow with that chill that lingers. Might even be a few flurries around throughout the afternoon in northern New Jersey, and then it stays just downright cold right up into the weekend with temperatures that remain below average going into Saturday and Sunday. Really can't find relief because next week we get this reinforcing shot of cold air that takes our highs and keeps them below freezing for a good period of time, Sunday and Monday, Ken.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. It is 8:03, and our temperature is 30 degrees right now in Trenton. It is 37, though, in northern New Jersey, closer to the water. So the closer we are to the river, the warmer the temperature because the waters are warmer. Inland, though, it is cold. So 30 degrees in Trenton. We go over and look at Vineland. Vineland's temperature right now is 29. But then toward the shore at Cape May, it's 34. So again, the water moderates the temperature a little bit. In terms of traffic, we have a crash on the Garden State southbound north of Barnegat Hills and Ocean Township. The right shoulder is blocked, just causing a little rubbernecking through there. We go over to US 1. We have a crash with property damage southbound north of 287 in Edison. The right lane of 3 lanes closed. That's causing the delay you see now. Pam, the next one we wanted was 22. Not 78. Let's go to 22 if we could. So we have delays on 22 eastbound by Morris Avenue in Union, from there to west of Bloy Street, Hillside. All lanes are open. Yeah, it has opened up. It just opened up. So that happened just moments ago. There were residual delays as recently as 5 minutes ago, but good. We'll cross that one off the list. That's a good thing. Over to the approaches to the Hudson River right now, Lincoln Tunnel approach on 495. It is heavy. In fact, it's going to cost you about 35 minutes into Manhattan, which is a gridlock alert day, we should mention, in effect there in Manhattan. So the 495 approach to the Lincoln Tunnel. right there, bumper to bumper. It is very heavy. It doesn't help, of course. People are driving into the glare of the sun, the eastern sun, in the morning, and that definitely causes a slowdown. But this is also volume. The Holland Tunnel approach is about 25 to 30. GWB, upper and lower levels, 80, 95, extremely heavy this morning. This is the case. Again, gridlock alert days will bring that out, and that's going to cost you about 45 minutes into Manhattan. 8:05 is our time. There is an amazing program using music to bring joy to those living with Alzheimer's disease and related dementias. The Encore Chorus at the Eastman School of Music in Rochester is an intergenerational chorus that brings together volunteers of all ages. Encore blends familiar mid-1960s favorites with new songs that encourage learning and encouragement and engagement, I should say, in order to spark memory. And it's the first program of its kind in the U.S. offered through a community music school connected to a world-class conservatory and a major research medical center. Erica Porter Smith is the music director of Encore Chorus, and Michael Allen Anderson is the program's founder and program director. We say good morning, Erica and Michael.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good. For those who don't realize, Rochester, you were home to Eastman Kodak. It's you're home to the University, Rochester Polytechnic. So it's a very intellectual town. For those who don't realize, it's sort of what Princeton is in New Jersey. Because I've been to Rochester, or as you say, Rochester, right? Don't the locals tend to call it that? I'm from Lower New York State,
Yeah.
and so that's there's a very intellectual type community. I only say that because it brings. That's why you would have a conservatory and the things that the folks of the college intelligentsia would love. And I am one of those people. I love it. So it's awesome that you have that. And I have a father at 95 with advanced dementia. So this is near and dear to my heart. And I've seen what music does. Talk about how the program is so unique, though, in the world of dementia support, please.
So, good morning. Yeah, this is quite an interesting time to be in because we have no pharmaceutical intervention for Alzheimer's disease and related dementias, but there is promise that we have through the arts, not just through music, but also visual art and culture and nature have been shown to have really positive effects on people living with dementia.
And you specifically bring music out that's focuses on the mid-1960s, because I'm assuming that the age group of people today suffering from Alzheimer's and related dementias, they were what, in their teens, 20s, whatever, back in the mid-1960s, right? So that's why it brings back that part of the brain that's still very much connected.
Yes. So in our first session that we started 2 years ago, before we got to know any of our course members, we focused on music from the 1950s and 60s specifically, as for the same reasons that you just described, that it would relate to them in their teens and 20s. We do have quite an age range within our course at the moment, with our eldest member being about 95. And so we do cover quite a wide range of decades and genres of music within the repertoire
That's
that they
amazing.
actually, yeah.
And so the 95-year-old is singing?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
She's
Every word.
She's one of the most active
I love
people in the group.
I love it. I love it. And even look, if my dad didn't have the dementia he did, you wouldn't even know it. He looks like he's 20 years younger than he is. His heart, his lungs, everything about him, even his skin tight as a drum, then the brain. As you're talking to him, something you bring back something from 1975, he will give you details and tell you a story that'll knock your socks off. Then he'll look at you and say, "Who are you?" And it just breaks your heart. It breaks your heart because there's so much in there yet, but it's beautiful. When they bring music around where he is right now, he immediately lights up. And it's usually stuff from the 60s and 70s, and he lights up right away. So you guys have light movement, storytelling, all part of your rehearsals. How do you see that supports the cognitive and emotional well-being for your singers?
So first and foremost, we structure each rehearsal so that it has a similar format. That way everybody knows what to expect. We start with some deep breaths, which not only connect ourselves to our own bodies and the space that we're in, but it connects us to each other. And then we sing the same song every session. Every rehearsal, we start with the same song. This past session, we used Getting to Know You. And then we go into some warm-ups, which help really warm up the voice and the body for some more singing. And we work on some more repertoire. We take a break for movement, and then sing a few more repertoire songs and end with the same song. Following our singing portion of the rehearsal, we have a half an hour of socialization.
I love it. I love it. How large, by the way, is the chorus? How many people do you have in it right now?
Well, we're organized in groups of two. So a person who has dementia comes to the chorus with their caregiver, care partner. So they come in pairs, and we have about 20 pairs right now, which is really strong. But in addition to that, to kind of aid the operation, we have a really dedicated group of volunteers. So we assign a volunteer to each pair. And so effectively, we have almost a 60-person chorus at this point.
I love it. And this is all linked together with the conservatory and the research medical center. That partnership is really essential on how you shape things, right, with the program?
So the Community Music School is a really wonderful infrastructure that the Eastman School of Music, the conservatory, offers to the community of Rochester. It has thousands of students and is one of the strongest programs in the country. But then when you link that to a research medical center at the University of Rochester, we have one of the greatest, top 25 medical research center in the country. So we've got a lot of power to make something like this really strong, train our volunteers, get good people in place.
Rochester is a great community and with just so much intelligence right there in that center in Western New York State. And I guess that's considered Western, right? Not so much upstate. Everyone south of like Westchester County, they call that upstate, but it's more Western New York State. And it stands for every new connection offers resonating experiences. What does that phrase mean to you in practice?
Sure. So it's been really amazing for me and my background coming from working in a long-term care community where all of a sudden we have a chorus that's comprised of people coming from the community and creating connections with each other. They're folks that didn't necessarily know each other before starting this chorus. A few folks did, but the most amazing part of this process over the last 2 years is really watching the caregivers that come with the folks living with a memory loss create relationships with one another, and creating that support system for one another as well.
Erica, I don't mean to cut you off. They're going to cut to a commercial that's automated. I just need to get your website really fast because I want people to learn more about you.
Sure. I want people just to go to the Eastman Community Music School website and they can search Encore. Just Google that. You'll get it.
Erica Porter-Smith, Music Director of Encore Chorus, and Michael Allen Anderson, Encore Chorus's Program Founder and Program Director. Thank you for coming on this morning. Happy holidays, and thank you for what you do.
Thanks, you for having us.
You bet. We're coming right back. Don't go away.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Hey, New Jersey, want to choose how you live as you age? Tune into AARP New Jersey's new show, The Power of Us, the show that celebrates aging with dignity, purpose, and joy. From protecting yourself against fraud, to staying healthy and aging in place, to finding purpose through volunteering, we've got the tools, tips, and stories to help you thrive. Join us on ONNJ and discover the power of us.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Hey, New Jersey, want to choose how you live as you age? Tune into AARP New Jersey's new show, The Power of Us, the show that celebrates aging with dignity, purpose, and joy. From protecting yourself against fraud, to staying healthy and aging in place, to finding purpose through volunteering, we've got the tools, tips, and stories to help you thrive. Join us on ONNJ and discover the power of us.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:15, and we'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the full Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
And what a difference a day makes. It's really nice, Mike. It's comfy
It
outside. I'm
is.
sure that
And I love the
Rocco doesn't mind
fact
going out.
No, he does not. He does not. And I love the fact that all of this rain is now delayed until the afternoon, at least for the northern half of the state. So you actually get the morning in the 40s. You're able to enjoy it, maybe go for the little stroll. This is what December should feel like, with highs that are rising into the mid 40s today. Now, with all of the clouds around this morning, it's not a bright and beautiful start to the day. There is a gray sky. But later on today, that's in advance of the wet weather that gets going by, say, 1, 2 o'clock through Monmouth and Ocean County. Again, it is wet, not white. Not anticipating any snow today, especially in central New Jersey. The reason being that southwesterly wind that is helping us warm through and through this afternoon. We're back to the chill come tomorrow morning. Wind chills are down in the single digits, not only tomorrow morning, but also for Friday morning and again Saturday morning, feeling like the teens and 20s at best by Saturday afternoon. So that cold is here to stay. The wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour today at the beaches. There's LBI, Ship Bottom, 36 miles per hour. Cape May, 34 mile per hour winds. Once those winds shift and blow in from the west, it's a colder wind direction tomorrow, making it feel very chilly into the end of the day. And that chilly weather sticks around right through the weekend, even though the winds relax a little bit. So the broader picture showing our storm off to the north and west right now as it moves toward New Jersey, encounters that warmer air and makes it feel, well, a little bit better through this afternoon. Just windy and wet with the snow isolated right on the Pennsylvania-New York State border. But again, that changes over to rain for you as well. The rest of the afternoon is wet and windy into this evening. It all wraps up later tonight, leading to a dry day tomorrow, but plenty of cold conditions with a few pop-up flurries as well, as that cold weather sticks around into the next several days. Speaking of the weekend weather, highs struggling just to make it to the freezing mark each afternoon, specifically on Sunday. And I think for the places that don't reach freezing on Sunday, you stay below freezing going into Monday. So it's this continued chill that lasts, Ken, and lasts and lasts.
You know, did you have to rub it in? It's like, here's the wound and here's the salt. And then here we go. That's Mike Favetta, ladies and gentlemen. You can't just say the
just
chill will
dumping.
last. It's and lasts and so dramatic. Che drammatico sei? Che drammatico sei? All right, my friend. We will check back with you. Troppo drammatico, Michele. All right, 35 degrees right now, northern New Jersey. It is 30 degrees in Trenton, 31 degrees in Vineland, and 34 degrees in Cape May. In terms of traffic, we look at the Garden State Parkway right now, where we have a crash northbound by the entrance ramp at exit 159, which is I-80 in Saddlebrook. There's a partial ramp blockage. So these folks just came through the tolls at 159. So they're headed right to where that is, which is why you see that slowdown. Everybody's like, do we really want to get off here or stay northbound on the Garden State? But if they got to get on 80, which is what probably they're trying to do to get on 80 into the city, that's why they're all like puzzled, let's say, right now. And that's what's happening right there. We have a crash way down on the opposite side of the Garden, literally as far opposite, because that's up near Rockland County, way down in South New Jersey by Barnegat Tolls, Ocean Township. The right shoulder is blocked with a crash. Again, southbound north of Barnegat Tolls in Ocean Township. We have a crash investigation, US 30 both directions, west of Franklin Avenue in Berlin, with all lanes closed there, and a crash with property damage, US 1 southbound. That is north of 287 in Edison, the right lane of 3 lanes closed there. We now have what just popped up here, a disabled vehicle 295 southbound north of exit 34 route 70 in Cherry Hill, just outside Philly. Right shoulder is closed there. And your approaches to the Hudson River. Lincoln Tunnel is going to cost you 35 minutes. Holland Tunnel, 25 to 30. GWB upper and lower levels, 80, 95 approach. Been slow all day. Gridlock alert day in Manhattan. That's going to cost you about 45 minutes in. Upper level on the right. Lower is a little better on the left. 8:20 is our time. Holiday shopping can feel overwhelming, but today we're making it a whole lot easier, much more stylish too. Fashion and lifestyle expert Dawn Del Russo is here, and she is unveiling her curated 2025 holiday glamour list. Good morning to you, Dawn. How are you?
Good morning, Ken. Good. How are you? So nice to see you
I
again.
love. I hear a virtual hug. I always love when you're
Yeah.
on because I am
Aw,
an
thanks.
illiterate. I am an illiterate when it comes to glamour.
No,
And
I
well,
don't think so.
I always leave learning something, so I don't necessarily know how to put it in action, but I learn something from you every time
That's
you're on.
good. That's all that matters.
That's it. Now
You know?
I love that it's a curated list. That is the coolest
Yes.
thing. So tell us
Yeah.
what inspired this year's list.
So every year I try to put together, every year it gets bigger and bigger, but I love to put together a list that's really useful and helpful, gift guides that are going to kind of inspire you to say, I don't know what to get this, woman or man in my life, and here are some really good ideas. And stay within decent price points and know that you can find this stuff somewhat easily. It doesn't mean you have to just go online to shop. You can find it in stores as well. But, starting with something for women like a brown statement bag right now, that is a very big trendy item that we're seeing. And you can find that in department stores. You can shop online for that. You can get that on, somewhere like Amazon for affordable price, or you can go to a really high-end luxury store and find something like that. So when I'm curating these lists, that's what I think about, is that you can find these items anywhere for anyone, and kind of direct it in that way that they're not stuck thinking about what to get.
Very cool. And of course, everybody loves great fashion. At least they love to look good. What are your top fashion and accessory picks this year? And by the way, let me, if I may, I have friends who shop by name and name only. I know nothing about like I couldn't tell you if you're wearing a Prada or a Schmada, nor does it necessarily impress me. If it looks good on you, it looks good on you. I couldn't, like, here, let me look. I have no idea. Vitali. If Vitali could be a fake name from China and they make it sound Italian, I have no idea. It fits. It looks okay. That's my life. But but yet I know people who are like, you mean that's not a Prada shirt? You can afford $1,100 for a damn shirt. So is it necessary to shop, or do you do, like, I have one friend who'll buy one thing that is name brand and then accessorize with other stuff, but your eye goes to the name brand thing, so it looks like everything is name brand.
That's a lot of people do that. I know a lot of people do, especially with accessories. I think that tends to happen a little bit more. The clothing can get very excessive with designer brands, but everybody's sort of individual. I do know a lot of people that don't only want to wear brand name. It has to be a brand name, everything. And then there's some people that, as long as it fits into that category, they're good with it. I personally, for shopping, it could get very expensive and difficult if you try to stay within that, I'm only buying designer items. And the other thing right now is, I think we're seeing a little bit of a transition from not necessarily not designer, but what the quality is. People are a little bit more aware of the quality and, kind of like what you mentioned, how it fits and how it feels. I think if it fits really good, if you're looking at a suit and you're putting it on and it fits you, it's tailored well, that's going to matter way more than what designer brand name it is. So I think that's kind of where you want to stay focused, is how it's going to fit and how it looks on you. There's a few items I pulled that are great for men, and then also a little bit of a list for women, because I know that we talk about that a lot. So like I mentioned, the statement brown bag, that's one really popular item. Pearl jewelry, we're seeing come back too. So if you're wondering what kind of jewelry to get for someone special in your life, look for pearls. That's coming back again. We're seeing that in a lot of different, even in, it's funny, but handbags are doing some embellishment with pearls on them. So we're seeing something like that. Wellness tech is really, really popular right now. So think, the red light masks that you're able to put on your face. I don't know if you've seen those, but they're very popular.
They look almost creepy, those plastic masks, but
do.
they have the red lights. But I know people who swear by it, right?
They do.
It tightens up your skin.
It looks
There
like
it is.
this.
It looks like
And
something
it
from a
does
horror
work.
film.
I know it does. But
Yeah,
it
no, for
actually
real. I
works.
mean, the LED therapy, those LED lights are a very specific frequency. And what it does for those that don't realize, it stimulates the collagen under your skin. Because the reason we get, look, you see how slow that is to respond? 20 years ago, I would have touched in like like fresh dough, it would have popped back. But that tells you the collagen is depleting and the fluid under the skin is depleting. I could do a medical expert segment. But that stimulates the collagen to plump up the skin so that these wrinkles go away. Oh, look, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. It's
Yeah.
all about me right
No.
now. I got to
No, it's
maybe a little Botox, maybe a little Botox for
but
you. So
you explained it perfectly because that's exactly what happens. And that honestly, women and men are doing it. And it's a gift that I feel like not everybody wants to go either. They don't want to spend the money. It's something they don't feel like they need. But if you're getting it as a gift, it feels a little bit better. So it
yeah,
might be
see
something to
that way
think about and unique.
you could say I wasn't vain. I didn't get it myself. My Uncle Joe got it for me. So there you go. But no,
Exactly.
it's instead of, you know what? Instead of being so fast to take an injection of Botox, try that first, and that may do the trick. It
Yes,
may take a couple of weeks. Don't think one
it does.
treatment is going to do it, but you'll see a difference. It does work. I know a lot
No.
of people who swear
Yeah,
by it.
it does.
We got
I've
about a
been
minute.
using it. And
Sorry, we got about a minute and a half left. So
no,
you've emphasized cozy at-home self-care. Why do you think that comfort-forward gifts like robes and slippers are really hot right now?
I think we all want to look for that comfort. We're not really treating ourselves. We're running around, we're working, we're so busy, constantly trying to get things done and never thinking, let me take care of myself, let me treat myself. So if you can do a gift that's going to pamper someone, maybe they're going to put a cozy robe on, they're going to put slippers on, they're going to get a nice, beautiful coffee table book that they could actually look through, something like that, things that are for your home, I think is a good direction to go in if you're unsure about what to get someone.
I am all about the cozy. That is me. There's the fashion stuff, not so much. Although I know people who do 90% of. I'm just the oddball, but the cozy,
Yeah.
I love that. What's a
Love it.
website to find your list, your curated list, or more information?
Yes, it is livetheglamour.com, and you will find the whole entire list there and links.
I love it. Fashion and lifestyle expert Dawn Del Russo, my fave. Thank you for coming on.
Oh,
Merry Christmas.
thank you, Ken. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. She's just so awesome. She's just so full of energy. I love it. It is now 39 degrees at 8:28. When we come back, the phone lines are open. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. We'll be right back.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Hey, New Jersey, want to choose how you live as you age? Tune into AARP New Jersey's new show, The Power of Us, the show that celebrates aging with dignity, purpose, and joy. From protecting yourself against fraud, to staying healthy and aging in place, to finding purpose through volunteering, we've got the tools, tips, and stories to help you thrive. Join us on ONNJ and discover the power of us.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Hey, New Jersey, want to choose how you live as you age? Tune into AARP New Jersey's new show, The Power of Us, the show that celebrates aging with dignity, purpose, and joy. From protecting yourself against fraud, to staying healthy and aging in place, to finding purpose through volunteering, We've got the tools, tips, and stories to help you thrive. Join us on ONNJ and discover the power of us.
And welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. It is Wednesday, December 10th, 2025. We have 34 degrees in northern New Jersey, 30 degrees in Trenton at 8:30. And I'm Ken Rosato. Cloudy today, maybe some rain a little bit later, highs upper 30s. Meteorologist Mike Pavetta has your full Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
So milder it is, but yeah, that's not necessarily going to stay the way we want it to for the next few days, but 'tis the
No,
season,
no.
yes?
Right. Today, you can actually go out with that light, wear the 3 parkas, maybe just the 1, because it's not terribly chilly as it was yesterday. I know people were complaining they're walking around all bundled up, and yet here we are today, and we're climbing through the 40s, even near 50 by the end of the day, with some of that rain holding off until this afternoon in northern New Jersey. As far as currently, we have a little bit of sunshine breaking through the clouds right now in Manahawkin, Atlantic City, where your high is expected to climb to above average, getting all the way to 48 degrees. But with that, there's a very gusty wind. Right now, those winds are already anywhere from 25 to 30 miles per hour at 8:31 this morning. But with more wind this afternoon comes milder weather and, of course, the rain later on today. Our average high is 47. We actually make it for the first time in several days. With all of the flurry activity happening predominantly to the north right now, this is just the initial batch of wintry mix that pauses, and then we see another round of wet weather get going into this afternoon. So most of this will occur into the late afternoon hours across most of New Jersey. The morning should be dry. Notice that little bit of blue streak right there, just encroaching in onto the northwestern border of the state. I think most of Pennsylvania. Whereas the rain takes over across the entire state and clears out by tonight, leading to a dry and colder day tomorrow. We're back to the chill, we're back to the wind, keeping it chilly all throughout Friday as well, and Sunday, no different. Plenty of cold weather around, helping those clouds form out to sea as the cold weather prevails. Now, by Friday night, there may be a few flakes and flurries as some moisture tries to sneak by down south of Cape May, but beyond that, it's a very weak system, only influences, say, Cape May County. So I think it's a non-issue for the rest of New Jersey, but it's the cold shots of air that come in one after the next, allowing for plenty of chilly weather to stick around, and even going into Saturday and Sunday, another little disturbance in the atmosphere, some energy sweeping on through that could give us a flake or flurry this weekend. No accumulation there. The 7-day forecast has more reinforcing shots of cold weather that take us even into next week. Look at how Monday and Tuesday barely get to the freezing mark, and then 3 as the high. That's after a morning that's stuck in the 20s. There's our snow chances for Sunday, primarily down the shore, and then Monday and Tuesday still chilly no matter where you find yourself in the Garden State. Lots of cold air through and through, Ken.
Right. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate that, and have a wonderful, wonderful few minutes. It is now 37 degrees northern New Jersey, 30 degrees in Trenton, 34 degrees in Vineland. We look at traffic, and it's not looking good. In fact, right now we have a crash on I-280 eastbound, east of exit 10, Northfield Avenue in Orange City. The left lane of 4 lanes closed, and that's causing a rubbernecking mess because 280 at this time of the morning is always heavy. Over to 295 now, we have a disabled vehicle, 295 southbound, south of exit 34, Route 70. There it is right on screen. Thank you very much to the traffic people for that. This is in Cherry Hill with the right shoulder closed as a result of what you're seeing right there. We go over to, gosh, we have so many to choose from here. Crash investigation, US 30, both directions west of Franklin Avenue, Berlin. All lanes closed there. Over to the Garden State Parkway, the northbound exit ramp. This is by exit 159, I-80 Saddlebrook. The right shoulder's blocked there, and that's causing what you see. And then staying on the Garden State Parkway, we have a disabled vehicle on the GSP northbound, a little bit further south. The exit ramp by exit 114 Red Hill Road in Holmdel, partial ramp blockage there causing delays. Over to 295, a disabled vehicle southbound, south of exit 34, Route 70, Cherry Hill. The right shoulder is closed there. And now we go to US 1 southbound. US 1 southbound, We have a crash with property damage north of I-287 in Edison. The right lane of 3 lanes closed there. My goodness. Over to 495 we go as we talk about the Hudson River approaches, the Lincoln Tunnel approach as you make your way to the Helix 495 approach. Very slow right now. It's really just caused by volume, and you can see that right there. Pam loves this shot because of the Lion King. She loves the Lion King, as I do, off to the left there. But that's as you approach the Helix, just about a quarter of a mile past the top of your screen there, things curve around, and that lets you get into the Lincoln Tunnel. That's very heavy right now with about a 35 to 40 minute crossing time. It's 30 minutes now at the Holland, and we go to the GWB upper and lower level. Not been good because it's a gridlock alert day in Manhattan today, folks. So the GWB upper and lower levels, bumper to bumper, a little better than it was. It's not quite bumper to bumper. Let's just say very heavy. Let's call it that. It's going to cost 45 minutes in at 8:36. Well, 2 Absecon men have been arrested after making terroristic threats to DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin. Emilio Roman Flores and Ricardo Antonio Roman Flores, who are twin brothers, are accused of threatening to shoot ICE officers on sight in addition to threatening to hang McLaughlin. They're both American citizens. McLaughlin has become one of the key faces of the Department of Homeland Security under President Trump, alongside Secretary Kristi Noem. As a leading spokesperson, she has repeatedly raised concerns about a rise in attacks on and threats toward federal agents. 836, New Jersey may have overpaid millions of dollars for child care subsidies. A recent audit shows about 15% of all kids in the program getting the money actually don't qualify because their family incomes exceeds eligibility limits. That doesn't mean the families are making millions, but there are limits. I mean, whatever the limit is, apparently these young people are getting the money when the family should not be. At the same time, there are about 8,000 children on the waiting list who are not getting money, who need it, who do qualify. Poor oversight and weak internal controls allowed many ineligible participants to receive funds. The question is, why did this happen? Is it management? Is it just inept employees? Is it Democrats running the state who seem to have no problem giving away your money? Think about that. In response, the state's Division of Family Development is changing procedures, they say, and strengthening controls to prevent overpayment and misuse. Why weren't you doing that all along? Yet another Democrat program financially mismanaged in a pure blue Democrat-run state. 837, a Hunterdon County couple, Randall Kelko and Lisa DiStefano, were charged with making false reports alleging New Jersey State Police troopers sexually assaulted Mr. Kelko while on duty. The couple reported the alleged assault to hospital staff, New Brunswick Police, and later filed a complaint with the New Jersey State Police Office of Professional Standards. But an investigation determined the incident never happened. Body cam video and video from Kelko's own cell phone showed the troopers' interactions during a domestic dispute response, and they all contradicted the couple's claims. If convicted, Kelko and DiStefano could get up to 10 years in prison and up to $150,000 in fines. Residents along Japan's northeast coast were warned to stay alert as aftershocks continued yesterday in the aftermath of a major earthquake that left at least 33 people hurt. Our U.S. Geological Survey reported a magnitude 6.6 and then later a 5.1 quake in the hours after the initial trembler late Monday local time. The USGS measured the main quake, though, at 7.6 magnitude just off the coast of the city of Misawa in Omori Prefecture. It was about 27 miles deep. Most of the people injured were hit by falling debris. A tsunami of just over 2 feet was measured in Kuji Port. Waves of up to 20 inches struck other communities in that region. 839, a Manhattan federal judge yesterday ordered the release of federal grand jury records tied to the criminal case of notorious pedophile Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell. Federal prosecutors must publish the records, including search warrants and grand jury testimony, because of the law that President Trump signed last month compelling the release of all Epstein-related documents. But the judge cautioned the new records would not reveal any bombshells to members of the public that followed Maxwell's 2021 trial, where she was convicted of multiple sex crimes for helping Epstein abuse girls as young as 14. Remember, Democrats were screaming for the release of the files. Anytime a story was posted about anybody in the Trump regime, you would see Democrats post nasty comments, release the Epstein files. Well, you assholes, they released them and there's nothing. Where are you now? Where are you now? Release the files. There's something Trump related in the files. You Trump derangement syndrome assholes. There's nothing there. And Trump played you like a fiddle, like he always does, because he loves to get this response from you. So now all the files have been released, even stuff that was blacked out before, it's all released. Notice how quiet mainstream media and liberals have become about the Epstein files. You're not hearing a word about it. 8:40, it's believed the Federal Reserve will deliver its third straight interest rate cut this morning, following a period of indecision about which way central bank policymakers would lean. And the chairman of the Fed, who's a jerk, markets have settled on a 0.25 percentage point reduction. If that is the case, it will take the Fed's key interest rate down to a range of 3.5 to 3.75%. Expect to see mortgage rates and car loan payments and even maybe credit card rates, although that takes time. Expect to see those all drop in the months ahead, and that will stimulate the economy. Thinking about traveling to Cuba? Aside from possible legal ramifications, because you can't just travel, you have to meet certain criteria, it may not be safe for your health. 21 children among 33 people who've died in Cuba of the mosquito-borne chikungunya and dengue viruses since July. Most of the deaths were attributed to chikungunya, which symptoms include fever and joint pain that can be debilitating, but that's not usually fatal. Usually younger people only die from that, sadly. While the flu-like dengue fever claimed 12 lives. The chikungunya virus emerged in Cuba's western Matanzas province in July, but soon spread to all 15 provinces of the country's near 10 million people. It is coming up on 8:42. Yeah, think about it. Cuba, in terms of landmass and population, is very similar to New Jersey. We have about the same population. And even though they're longer and skinnier, we're kind of shorter and fatter. Overall square footage, if you will, square mileage, very similar to New Jersey. Maybe that's why so many wonderful Cuban Americans are here in Union City. Great community. I lived in Miami for years. Love my Cuban friends. Still have them to this day. Very dear friends. 8:42, we have 28 degrees now, northern New Jersey, 30 degrees in Trenton. When we come back, a propane fuel company has launched an unusual campaign to get girls interested in working for them. Brilliant move. Cloudy today, periods of rain later, highs upper 30s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta returns with a full Garden State forecast. And we will take your calls at 888-658-0234. 888-658-0234. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. It is a Wednesday hump day. Don't go away. We're coming right back.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Hey, New Jersey, want to choose how you live as you age? Tune into AARP New Jersey's new show, The Power of Us, the show that celebrates aging with dignity, purpose, and joy. From protecting yourself against fraud, to staying healthy and aging in place, to finding purpose through volunteering, we've got the tools, tips, and stories to help you thrive. Join us on ONNJ and discover the power of us.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Hey, New Jersey, want to choose how you live as you age? Tune into AARP New Jersey's new show, The Power of Us, the show that celebrates aging with dignity, purpose, and joy. From protecting yourself against fraud, to staying healthy and aging in place, to finding purpose through volunteering, we've got the tools, tips, and stories to help you thrive. Join us on ONNJ and discover the power of us.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:45, taking your calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the full Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
Hi, Ken. Yes, cold indeed going through this afternoon, but not as chilly as days past. It comes, though, with some rain, and with that rain, even mixing at times early on with a little bit of snow up there in the northernmost sections of the state. It's predominantly a liquid event, not white, taking you down through Essex County and Hudson County this afternoon as highs climb well into the 40s. But the good news about today, again, we've been saying it all morning, how that warm air comes in before the precip starts falling, and that should change a lot of this to rain on the onset. Still a 1 to 2 inch rainfall deficit, so certainly making up for that today with about a ½ inch to an inch of rain that will fall. But right through Christmas Eve, anticipating that cold weather to stick around as below average temperatures are forecast for all of the Northeast, but a big heat surge out west with above average temperatures there. So fly south and west to enjoy the warmth, at least through the holiday. Going into the next few weeks, again, I think we'll see some slightly equal chances of dry and wet weather into the next 2 weeks. As far as the 7-day forecast is concerned, it's cold all around. You see another shot of flurries by Sunday. Unlikely it'll make an accumulation. It's just more dry weather that comes in behind it, allowing temperatures to start in the teens on Monday morning, climbing only to 34 as a high on Tuesday and staying cold into the end of next week. You can stay on top of today's weather with the rain and the snow and live radar at ONNJ.com.
All right. Very good, sir. Thank you very much, Mike. 8:47 right now, and our temperature is 29 degrees northern New Jersey. We have 30 degrees in Trenton. It's amazing how things have shifted. I guess the winds have shifted, so I think we're getting westerlies right now, and that's causing northern New Jersey to get chilly. When we had easterlies early, it was warmer because we were getting a little warmer water temperatures between the Atlantic and the Hudson River. Now I think it's shifted to the west and we're getting that inland cold. So it's dropped about 7 degrees in the last hour in northern New Jersey. It is 30 degrees in Trenton as well. All right, we look at our traffic and we have a lot of it. A disabled vehicle now on I-280 eastbound, east of exit 10. That's causing what you see there. This is by Northfield Ave and Orange. All lanes are open, but you can see the damage done. And that's actually what we're talking about is coming toward us on the left side. The stuff on the right is just volume. Then we have 295 is an absolute mess here as well. 295, we have traffic by the Aljo curve. That tends to be trafficy as it is, but this morning there's an excessive amount of volume, and that's causing folks. There was right there where that open space is. There was an earlier breakdown, but apparently that's been cleared away. We have a disabled vehicle now on the Garden State Parkway northbound exit ramp at exit 114 Red Hill Road in Homedale with a partial ramp blocked. And then we go further north on the Garden State Parkway. This is by the northbound entrance ramp at exit 159 I-80 Saddlebrook. The right shoulder is blocked, and that's causing what you see on your screen there. Crash investigation now, US 30, both directions west of Franklin Avenue in Berlin. All lanes are closed. And we go over to US 1 in Edison. We have a crash with property damage on US 1 in Edison. Look at that mess. And you can see the emergency flashing lights there in the middle of the screen coming towards you. So they may have cleared something away. That may help things move in a little bit. As you make your way into Manhattan right now, it is a gridlock alert day. Be aware of that. So your Holland Tunnel approach now going to cost you 30 minutes. The Lincoln Tunnel, look at 495. Jamming as you make your way to the Helix, the Lincoln Tunnel into Manhattan. That's bumper to bumper. Lincoln Tunnel is going to cost you 35 to 40. And then we go over to the GWB, upper and lower level 8095 approach. They're saying 40 to 45 minutes. Take a look at what things are looking like now. This is what happens on a gridlock alert day. The upper level on the right does not look quite as good as the lower level on the left, but either way, 40 to 45 minutes in. 8:49, and Suburban Propane recently hosted a unique event at its Whippany headquarters called Trucks Are for Girls, Fueling the Future. In partnership with the Girl Scouts of Northern New Jersey and the Women in Trucking Association, the event gave girls hands-on STEM and leadership experiences tied to careers in energy and transportation. It's part of the company's national outreach initiative, Suburban Cares. Michael Stivala is the president and CEO of Suburban Propane. We say good morning to Michael.
Good morning, Ken. How are you?
Great. Good to have you on. And this is fascinating. You offer these girls a big tour of the operations. They climbed aboard a propane delivery truck and even trained on a driving simulator. What inspired the company to launch this program initially?
Well, we're always looking to bring new talent into the industry, and what better time to start than to educate young girls about the opportunities that are available to them in trucking and logistics and in energy. And so we have a partnership with Women in Trucking, and we also developed a partnership with the Girl Scouts of Northern New Jersey, and it kind of came together as a very logical opportunity to bring all three of us together and really give the girls an experience that I think watching their faces was amazing, just to see how much they enjoyed getting exposed to that kind of a career opportunity that probably many of them never even imagined, and some of them were already in high school, and you could start to see the wheels spinning about the opportunities that maybe they'll think about as they think about college and moving on to a career. So it was really an outstanding event.
This is, I think every parent thinks right away, I'm going to send my child to college. We'll let them incur $400,000 in debt. And then if they're lucky, 1 in 20 will get hired to make $40,000 a year when they graduate. Meanwhile, you could start right out with a career at delivering propane or whatever, and make probably very serious money without incurring all that debt. This is just a great opportunity. And I think too many people right away, they look this way and they don't expand their horizons. Are you finding that?
Absolutely. I mean, I find it in my own family. I have children that are both at that point of trying to figure out careers. So absolutely, I think it's a real challenge for youth these days, and I think there's just nothing wrong with going into a trade of some sort. I think if that's your passion, you shouldn't just follow going to college because that's what everybody else is doing. Finding a passion that works for you is going to make your opportunities and your appreciation for the career path that you choose that much more enhanced. And I think I think that's what we were able to expose these girls to, was just the many vast opportunities. And frankly, it wasn't just trucking. We gave them across the board experiences. We took them through different stations where they talked to people from our HR department, they talked to people from accounting, they talked to people from marketing, and really understood all the different careers that can be had just by going into the energy sector. And so I think it was great. And then the simulator truck was a big hit, obviously. So Women in Trucking brought this huge simulator that gave the girls the opportunity to get behind the wheel of a tractor trailer and sort of feel what it would be like to have that much power and weight behind you, obviously in a simulator. But it was an incredible experience for them.
What other time in anyone's life would they have that opportunity to see what it's like to be behind the wheel of a tractor trailer? That's a huge thing. And this is all part of your national community outreach program, Suburban Cares. Talk about Suburban Cares.
Yeah, so we launched Suburban Cares in 2019. We are a hyper-local business. We started almost 100 years ago in West Orange, New Jersey, and now our headquarters are in Whippany, New Jersey. But we're in 42 states, and what is so important to us is that we're embedded in the local communities that we serve, and so giving back to those communities, and as well as partnering ourselves with national organizations that are meaningful to our mission, like the American Red Cross, are all fall under the Suburban Cares pillar. And so it really gives us the opportunity to sort of package in one pillar all of our philanthropic activities, encourages all of our 3,300 employees around the country to get involved in the local communities, and we support whatever organization that they want to be in, that they want to volunteer their time or resources to. And then we have a national partnership, like I said, with the American Red Cross. We're part of their prestigious annual disaster giving program, which is only about 55 companies around the country. And so we're very proud of that relationship where we support their preparedness for disasters, because we know they're going to happen, and they need funding for that. It also encompasses our devotion to hiring military veterans, and we have a deep commitment to our military veterans, and we have great career opportunities for them as well. So it's a great platform for us. In fact, tomorrow night we're going to be we're finalists in the S&P Global Energy Awards for recognition for our Suburban Cares platform, and we're hopeful to take this year as a victory, because the fifth year in a row we've been nominated as a finalist in that category. So we're excited.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Michael, we got about a minute left. Suburban Propane is like 100-year-old company, such a great company, part of America. The Girl Scouts created mock cause-driven cookie campaigns. What was that about, and why was that so important?
Well, obviously the Girl Scouts, the first thing you think about is Girl Scout cookies. So I think, it was just a way to make the day, the afternoon, that much more exciting, and sort of bring it together with their iconic brand of cookies, and have them really just think about how do we get creative here, and develop something that we can take what we learned today as in our energy company, and take it out to what we do every day in our efforts as Girl Scouts. So they had a lot of fun with it. My team had a great time with it. I mean, we had volunteers. We probably had 50 volunteers from our headquarters get involved in this event, and everybody was just so excited. And it was great for me to welcome so many people into the building.
Beautiful. Michael Stivala. By the way, if it was an O, Stivalo, do you know that means boot in Italian, right? They call the
Yes,
peninsula of Italy Lo Stivalo, the boot. Michael
yes, that's right.
Stivala, President and CEO of Suburban Propane. Oh, really fast. What's your website? We have about 10 seconds here. What's your website there?
Suburbanpropane.com.
There you go. Suburbanpropane.com, serving the United States for 100 years almost. Thank you for coming on this morning. Happy holidays, and what a great program you're doing there. That's wonderful. Keep up the great work. We
Yes,
appreciate
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you too. Thank you.
Merry Christmas. Thank you. And that is On New Jersey Mornings for your Wednesday. It is 35 degrees right now, 8:58. Meteorologist Mike Fabetta says clouds today, maybe some rain later, highs in the upper 30s. We'll catch you again tomorrow morning at 7. Thanks for watching On New Jersey Mornings.